All right, so picture this. 2025 is quickly approaching. You've got a baby due at the end of February, and you have the nursery completely done. However, it is completely full after you have a baby shower. You've got no space to put anything. Your closets are completely stacked to the brim. You only have a one-car garage that is completely full of tools and no basement on your house. So you start to think about what your possibilities are. Do I buy a new house? Do I figure out a way to make the one that I currently have work for me? If I go and buy a new house, I drop my halfway decent mortgage, my cheap price that I got for the house, and I'm essentially doubling that mortgage that I get just to move into something a little bit bigger. But if I stay in the house that I'm currently in, I'm gonna have to do a lot of work to get it up to ready for being able to take on that extra person that we're adding to our family. So that's a dilemma that I'm currently in, and I've spent a lot of time with my wife going back and forth on whether or not we want to move to a different area, or if we just want to take the house that we know and love that we're already comfortable in and make it work. Now, spoiler alert, if you have watched any of my other videos and have any sort of idea as far as the layout for my house goes, you will know that the thing behind me was not there about a month ago, and I took the challenge of adding some additional space to this house to the extreme, as I usually do. Thankfully, me and my wife are doing fine financially, so we do have some options as far as what we could have chose to do. But when we moved into this house about a year and a half ago, we had taken on a huge renovation. Like, everything in here is completely new, and it was almost heartbreaking to decide to start breaking into everything that I've done as far as the hard work goes for the renovation that we did. And for the last month, we did exactly what I said I would never do again, and that is live in a construction zone. But I think staying in this house and utilizing the extra space that we had upstairs was totally worth it instead of buying another home that already had that space. So the main reason we did not end up moving from this house was because the mortgage payment on it is only $1,600, and that is almost effortless to us to keep up with as far as our lifestyle goes, mixed with our professional development and making more money over time. So we did not want to get away from that and experience the lifestyle creep that is super common among American people, where we are just making more money and then we slowly inflate our life to spend more money along with it. And realistically, it just didn't make sense. Moving into a bigger house will surely mean that we're going to have a bigger mortgage, probably about a 50% increase. So we would have been sitting around that $3,000 a month mark, which is a lot more than I've ever paid for a house. Now, to some people that may be chump change, but to me it's a lot. And of that payment, the house that we would buy would probably be a little bit bigger. However, we would have issues with it not being renovated to our liking, which in turn would take a lot of time and additional money away from us, and it would force me to jump into a project that I didn't really have any plans to do. And honestly, those types of projects usually take a few months to do rather than what I did back here, which I'll get into in a minute. The other upside to making the house that we're currently in work is the fact that we already live here, so we wouldn't have to pack and unpack and figure out where all of our things are going to fit in this new house. And with any sort of renovation delay, we definitely would have had a newborn living in a construction zone, which we definitely did not want because of all the dust and junk that comes along with it. So we really needed something that was going to be completely clean. The other thing with having to move is the fact that we're already in a pretty desirable area for Cleveland. We can get to Crocker Park, Huntington Beach, Lakewood, all within a 15-minute drive, and you guys know we spend a ton of time there, so that was another thing that we weren't willing to sacrifice. If we were to go for that bigger home, we would have been priced out of where we wanted to live, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. We could have gone back south towards Strongsville, got a similar amount of land to what we currently have, which is a little bit under an acre. So we spent a lot of time figuring out how we could stay here, and after all of our planning, we pretty much decided that since we don't have a basement, we wanted to take our upstairs attic area and finish it into some more living space along with another bedroom. Now, with finishing that extra area, we are going to be adding about 500 square feet to the house along with that extra bedroom. And in the end, that is going to add a significant amount of value to this home. And that's why we chose to take that approach. I didn't want to do an addition to the house because it's the middle of winter right now and it would have been freezing to do. Not only that, but it would have been really expensive. So just utilizing that attic area is going to be perfect for that extra storage and having a guest room, because one of the 3 bedrooms in this house is my office, the other is the nursery, and then obviously one is our bedroom. Now, while we were discussing the plan as far as where we would want to put the staircase, there were a lot of different options. We could have done a spiral staircase that took up a lot less space, but in the end, I wanted something that felt like it belonged to the original house. And I think I really did accomplish that because this staircase turned out absolutely beautiful. We currently have that open concept living area where our kitchen's on one wall, our living room was on the back wall, and then on the front of the house we had our dining room. Building the staircase in this way allowed me to not really have to worry about taking away too much space from the living area, but it's also going to be extremely functionable as far as what I can use the underside of it for. At the end of this staircase, I was able to build a closet, and inside that closet, I added a few different shelves so that way we could put all of our appliances inside of it and not have to worry about them sitting on the counter or on top of the fridge like they were before. It's also being utilized as paper towel and toilet paper storage. So that's not taking up valuable space in some of our other coat closets or mechanical closets. Now that end space left a bunch of additional space underneath the staircase that wasn't fully head height, so what I'm gonna do in the middle section is actually build a hidden bookshelf, but the theory with that is to have the bookshelf open into the space so that way we could have a more permanent storage location for stuff in case we wanted to like maybe throw our Christmas tree in there or something along the lines of holiday decorations that are not going to be used all the time. Now for the little triangle space at the very bottom of the staircase, that's going to be some toy storage for the boy when he comes. We're not giving anyone his name quite yet. That is going to be a surprise until he's born. But one hint is that no one's guessed it yet, so that's kind of fun. I'm excited to see what people's reactions are when they get to find out. Now, when we were weighing our options for this project, honestly, price was the main thing that went along with it. Right now, with where I'm at with the project, the whole first floor is completely finished and it's cost me about $3,600 to build this staircase. Now, I did it myself, so I saved a ton of money as far as paying labor. However, if I were to pay someone to build that staircase, it probably would have been closer to 10 grand, I'm guessing. Now, when it comes time to actually finish the second floor, which is the next step in this process, I'm probably gonna have another 4 or 5 grand into it. So all in, realistically, I'm gonna be less than $10,000. I'm really hoping to be around that $7,000 mark. And I think that's possible because I have pretty much all of the wood already up there, so I don't have to worry about going to Home Depot and getting more lumber loads. I have a lot of the drywall already. So the only expensive things that I need to purchase still are gonna be the subfloor and the flooring. I've already got the paint and the drywall mud as well. So I'm not thinking that there's too much left to this project as far as buying stuff goes. The reason that those two middle sections on the staircase are not finished yet with the bookshelf is because those are gonna be some pretty tedious projects. I'm gonna take those on after the first few months once we're all settled with the baby and I can take the time and have a clean garage to complete those projects in. That way it's not getting super dusty in here. I'll have everything pre-built before I bring it in. That way I'm not creating a huge mess of dust again. So with adding that 500 extra square feet and the additional bedroom, I'm probably gonna be adding about $40,000 worth of value to my home. Along the way, I'm definitely gonna be spending less than 10 grand. So looking at the value add aspect of this project, it was a no-brainer. Now, if you were to hire out the full project, finishing the attic and finishing the lower area, I'm guessing you'd probably be at that 20 to 25 grand mark. It wouldn't be cheap, but at that point, if you're gaining 30 to 40 in your home value, it's worth it still, just with the fact that you're gonna have that additional living space, another bedroom, and you get that increased quality of life while you're living there. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that this project was not all roses and daffodils. I did run into a pretty big problem after I had finished framing and already started mudding the drywall, and the chimney actually started leaking, and that staircase wall that is on the right side if you were walking up it, actually started peeling off all of the drywall that I had done. And that was something super random that just happened one night. Now, like I said, it's the middle of winter, it's 2 degrees outside, the roof is covered in snow, so I can't get up there to patch the chimney that's leaking. So right now I'm kind of stuck. Luckily, within the next couple weeks, it's supposed to start getting a little bit warmer, so I'm gonna be able to have my roofing friend get out here and patch that up for me. But I currently have a fan running on the chimney 24/7 so that it stays relatively dry and doesn't keep soaking into the drywall. But if you're gonna be taking on a project like this, things are gonna happen along the way that just were unexpected. So one thing I've learned with house renovations is just to roll with the punches and make it work. There's a saying that I think is pretty funny and it goes like this: everything can be fixed with a good attitude and more money. And that could not be more true. And if we're being real, that chimney leak is totally my fault because when fall came, I didn't do my winter prep this year because I was so busy with other projects and selling houses in the area that I just could not take the time to go around the exterior of the home and make sure everything was sealed up. So that goes to show that you really should keep up with all of your exterior maintenance and your home maintenance because that neglect can bite you in the butt. Anyways, if you're starting to try to figure out whether or not you want to make a house upgrade or just make the house that you're currently living in work, you are going to have a long thought process that goes along with it because there are so many different options. Now, if you want some help to decide which projects are worth taking on, you can always reach out to a real estate professional. If you're in the Cleveland area, I'm happy to help where I can. But in a lot of people's cases, it's going to make sense to just upgrade and move to a new home if that's something that fits what your lifestyle is able to afford. Mine just didn't happen to be there for this particular house. There's truly some great arguments to both sides, so you'll just have to figure out what fits you best. Now, I help people buy and sell houses in the greater Cleveland area, so if you're starting to think about making a move, definitely reach out, because I'm going to be able to make your process so much easier with all of the planning and everything that comes along with jumping into the real estate market. So you can find all of my contact info down in the description. But if you find yourself down there, before you go, hit that like button and subscribe, because it's going to keep you up to date with everything that's going on in my life in the greater Cleveland area. And I do my best to get out regular videos just on those topics. So with all that being said, I'm going to leave the video there. I'll catch you in the next one.